The gray wolf, Canis lupus, or timber wolf as it is sometimes referred to, is one of nature's most awesome animals and one of the top terrestrial predators that lives in the world today. From its magnificent beauty to its ferocious nature, the wolf has been honored and respected by indigenous tribes around the world. The wolf has been portrayed in some cultures as noble and loyal, a spirit brother, while in others he is spoken of in folklore as ruthless, fierce, and terrifying. It has lived throughout many regions in the world, from the northernmost lands of Europe and the Americas to its southernmost ranges of India, Egypt, and Central America. Its range was unencumbered, and it lived in the wild as nature had planned. Here in the United States, historical data shows us that it roamed from the shores of the Pacific Ocean and the western foothills of the Rockies to the eastern plains of the country and from the Alaskan Range to the deserts of Central America. It has lived and died as nature had intended, killing as it felt necessary and running free, only leaving the southwestern territories to its cousin the red wolf, not knowing that its days were numbered. As European settlers amassed in the eastern United States, it would only be a matter of time before a new predator, man, would set foot in its territory and threaten its existence. As the westward expansion became a reality, in the late 17 and early 1800s, stories would be told of the ferocious creature that roamed the land. Stories of a killing beast that ran in packs, slaughtering livestock and sometimes men, placing fear into the settlers wanting to move west. It wasn't long before their anthropocentric views were heard and orders were put out to kill them all. Bounties were created to entice people to hunt these animals, with the mindset that there was no room for man and wolf to coexist. Even our environmentally friendly president, Theodore Roosevelt, was quoted as saying that wolves were just the beast of waste and desolation, calling for it to be eradicated. Eventually, by 1960, wolves were a scarcity in the lower 48 states, only occupying small pockets near the border of Canada in Michigan and Minnesota. For many years, these anthropocentric views remained, and only recently did ethical perspectives begin to change towards the gray wolf, and they were listed in 1974 as an endangered species in the lower 48 states. Eventually, with environmentalist and conservationist views on the rise, reintroduction of the once-honored wolf began in Yellowstone National Park and the state of Idaho in 1995. To this point, wolves were scarcely seen and sparsely populated in only a few states along the Canadian border. Currently, through many scientific studies of the keystone species and their worthiness to the ecosystem, fish and wildlife organizations have allowed for the gray wolf to make its comeback in 13 states and counting. In the Pacific Northwest, we have benefited in the minds of the environmentalists and the conservationists due to the reinsertion of the gray wolf from other states. Due to the large territory that wolves require, roaming wolves have entered into Washington and Oregon states and begun to thrive. Currently, there are 16 confirmed packs consisting of about 100 wolves in Washington and 15 confirmed packs with 81 wolves in Oregon. So far, the primary success for this has been the protection by the Endangered Species Act and the state's wolf management plans. With stiff laws in place for killing these animals, they have begun to recover. However, just as the numbers begin to increase, each state has been removing them from the endangered species list. Recently, due to an increasing level of awareness of the gray wolf populations in Oregon, attention has been brought to light as their coexistence with humans once again begins to disturb the public. According to High Country News in 2015, at the most recent Fish and Wildlife Commission meeting, the lines of allegiance were clearly drawn. On the right side of the room sat wolf advocates, mostly from Western Oregon, while hunting advocates and Eastern Oregon ranchers in cowboy hats sat on the left. As has become the norm with most environmental debates in Oregon, the more liberal urban western side has faced off against the more conservative rural eastern side. Ranchers argue the wolf is going to make a negative economic impact on their communities and beyond. They have been discovering their livestock dead or battered, and feared that it is only time before these vermin begin to take the lives of their pets or worse. Therefore, a call for delisting the gray wolf from the endangered species list is being demanded by those in opposition to a free-roaming wolf. They say it is necessary in order to protect their livelihood, their livestock, and their families, allowing them to kill the animal without fear of prosecution. While biocentric and ecocentric actors uphold the gray wolf's importance to the trophic cascade and their right to live free in their own biotic community, they fear by delisting the gray wolf it will only bring a failure to the state's wolf management plans and lead to its demise once again. These actors feel that by lessening the regulations, poaching will increase, hunters will work towards killing them for sport, and they will lose their advantage of being able to sue different government agencies when certain measures are not met. Advocates of the wolves have shown many other factors that cause a much greater loss to livestock than the wolf, and human casualties by the gray wolf are extremely rare. They have provided data that shows only 0.2% of the cattle population that is lost every year is even killed by wolves, and there are many more causes to be concerned with. In fact, they showed that domestic dogs are responsible for 12% of the cattle that is killed every year, which is far greater than wolves. On November 9, 2015, the Oregon Fish and Wildlife Commission convened in Salem, Oregon, where a crowd of people from both sides of the aisle came to be acknowledged. After 10 hours of deliberation, the decision was made to remove them from the Oregon State's endangered species list in a 4-2 vote from the commission. Although this was not a victory in the eyes of the conservationists, the wolves still remain on the sensitive list in the state of Oregon, with a population of only 81. The wolves are only allowed to be killed if they are caught in the act of harming livestock in any way, including pursuing, wounding, biting, or slaying. If the wolf is killed for any other reason, the perpetrator could face up to a year in jail and a $6,250 fine. There are many opinions on whether it is wise to allow the gray wolf to roam its native territory once again. Some believe that their time has come and gone. There is no place for them to thrive in harmony with the ever-growing human population. They were previously eradicated because they were a nuisance or a danger to livestock and the human's way of living. While others believe they have an intrinsic value and are a necessity for nature to remain in balance, they feel that the scientific studies prove, as a keystone species, they must be allowed to flourish in order to maintain a healthy biosphere. Certainly, the complexities of this issue are great, but only time will tell if the gray wolf's recovery will fully be realized.